Have you ever noticed there are certain people you're just really happy to see? They may not be your closest friend. They may not know every detail of your life. Sometimes you might even only see them for just a few minutes at a time. But the moment you notice them walking towards you or sitting there, you just smile. And somehow they smile too. Nothing extraordinary has happened. There's no big grand announcements, no life-changing conversation. You're just simply genuinely happy to see each other. You ever wondered why that is? What is it about certain people that makes an ordinary day feel just a little bit better simply because they showed up? Are you ready to win despite everyone who's ever said you wouldn't? Then let's go. It's time to prove those doubters wrong. Hi, and welcome to the Last Laugh, No Apologies podcast. I'm your host, Christine Christensen. I'm a mom, passionate entrepreneur, and success coach. If you're ready to finally flip the script on all those doubts in your head and the doubters in your life that have been holding you back, you, my friend, are in the right place. It's time to dust off that crown, show them what you're made of, and remind them that you are the main character in this life story. Get ready, because you're about to make them regret that they ever doubted you, and I'm here to cheer you on. Each week, we'll dive into mindset shifts, inspiring stories, and practical strategies that are designed to help you realize your worth, embrace the amazing woman that you are, and step into your power so you can start living your life unapologetically. It's time for some real talk, some laughs, and some transformation. Are you ready? Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Hey, it's Christine. Welcome back to the Last Laugh, No Apologies podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Lately, I have been thinking about the people who quietly become part of our everyday lives. The cashier that we hope is working when we walk into a store, the coworker whose name is on the schedule and it just makes the day feel a little bit easier, or that neighbor who always makes time to stop and talk. It might even be the curbside employee that brings out your grocery order, or the friend who doesn't really need a special reason to make us laugh. They might not realize it. We may never have told them, but somehow ordinary life just feels a little bit better when they're in it. And I think that matters more than we sometimes really understand. Think about someone that you are always really happy to see. I bet you had someone come to mind right away, didn't you? Maybe it's someone that you've known for years. Or maybe it's someone whose last name you don't even know. What is it about them? It probably isn't even that they're the funniest person that you've ever met, or the smartest, or the most impressive. They may not give brilliant advice. They might never solve a single problem for you. It's just often something much quieter than that. Maybe they remember your name. Maybe they look genuinely pleased or happy the minute they see you. Maybe they ask how you're doing and actually listen to how you answer. Maybe they make room for you in the conversation. Maybe they laugh really easy or have a kind smile. Maybe they never make you feel like you're bothering them or like you're an inconvenience. Or maybe their presence simply carries a kind of warmth that just lets you immediately relax, even if it's just for a few minutes. You don't have to perform. You don't have to prove anything with them. You don't have to be more interesting, more successful, or even more put together than you really are. You can just be you and just be there. And for those few minutes, life just feels a little bit lighter. I don't think we always recognize just how meaningful that is. We tend to think the people who make the greatest difference in our lives must have done something huge or must be someone that we've known for a really long time. They rescued us or changed our path. They gave us the perfect advice at just the right time. And yes, sometimes people do change our lives in those big, unforgettable ways. But sometimes the people who make the biggest difference are simply the ones who make a Tuesday feel a little more enjoyable. They become part of the scenery of our lives, part of the rhythm, part of what we quietly start to look forward to. And we may not realize just how much they've come to mean until they aren't there. You walk into a store and notice the register is closed, or you pick up your groceries and notice you haven't had a conversation with them in a few weeks. You might arrive at work and realize they've got the day off. Or you glance over to where they normally sit and something just feels different. Not devastating or dramatic, just a little less bright. Because some people don't only become part of our memories, they really become part of what we love about ordinary days. I think that's why this is so easy to overlook sometimes. These people may not be doing anything that appears remarkable. They're not standing on a stage or collecting awards. They're not changing the entire world before lunch. They're just simply showing up in an authentic way that changes the few feet of world that's around them. They greet people, they smile, they notice people and make them feel seen and valued. They make eye contact and remember small things. They make other people feel welcome. They allow their happiness to see someone to actually show. And that might sound simple, but think about how rare that can feel. Most of us tend to move through our days surrounded by people who are just distracted and rushed and tired and sometimes crabbier than hell. They might be looking at a screen and act like you're interrupting them if you need help or just acknowledge them. They're thinking about the next place that they need to get to or what they're doing after work. We pass one another constantly without really seeing each other at all. So when someone does see us, when their face changes or lights up because we walked into the room, when their smile says, without words, I'm glad you're here. We can feel that. And maybe that is what we're responding to, not charm, not popularity, not some perfect personality all packaged up. We're responding to the feeling of just being welcomed into another person's moment for just a little while. We aren't invisible. We aren't just another customer, another coworker, or another person in line. We're someone that they're actually really happy to see. And that feeling stays with us. Most people will never remember every single conversation that they had with you. They won't remember every joke, every detail, every ordinary sentence that was exchanged on a particular afternoon. But they just might remember that somehow they always felt just a little bit happier when you were around. That's a really beautiful kind of impact. And the person creating it may have no idea that they're even doing it. They might believe they're just simply being themselves. They might assume the smile didn't really matter, that the quick conversation was really nothing, that remembering your name wasn't a big deal. Meanwhile, they may have been one of the best parts of your day. And that brings me to a question that I have been thinking about. Have you ever wondered if you are that person for someone else? Is there anyone who sees your car pull into the parking lot and feels a little bit happier? Anyone who notices your name on the schedule and thinks, oh, good, they're here today? Anyone who hopes they'll run into you? Anyone whose ordinary day becomes just a little bit brighter because your paths crossed? That's the thing. You might never know. Most people aren't going to stop us and say, you know what? You make my regular Tuesday afternoons a lot more enjoyable. Although that would be really nice. They probably won't even explain that our conversations give them something to look forward to. They might never tell us that our smile arrived just in time on a really difficult day, or that we made them feel noticed during a week when they'd felt almost completely invisible. They may not even have words for it themselves. They just know that they are really happy to see us. And maybe we don't really need to know. Maybe the impact still counts even when nobody announces or declares it. We spend so much time wondering whether our lives really matter. I know I do. Whether we're doing enough, whether we're making a difference. We look for proof in our accomplishments, whether it's numbers or recognition or just big moments. But what if some of the proof is actually just standing right in front of us? What if our lives matter in the way someone's face lights up when they see us and you can just tell? What if our impact is hiding inside conversations that we thought were ordinary? What if those small moments that we barely remember became really meaningful to someone else? You might never really know whose ordinary day became a little bit brighter simply because you showed up. Not because you fixed their problems or had the perfect thing to say. Not because you transformed their entire life, but just because for a few minutes out of their day, they were really happy you were there. This conversation isn't about pretending to be cheerful all the time. It isn't about performing happiness. And it certainly isn't about making every single person freaking like you, because that would be exhausting and damn near impossible. We all have hard days. We all get distracted. And we all walk into rooms carrying things that nobody else can see. Being a person who makes ordinary days better doesn't mean becoming endlessly positive. That's not even possible for anyone, I don't think. But it does mean becoming more aware of what our presence will really leave behind. When we walk away from someone, do they feel smaller or rushed, dismissed? Or do they feel seen and comfortable and maybe a little bit lighter? Sometimes making a person's day better looks like just a smile. Sometimes it looks like listening without immediately turning the conversation back on yourself. Sometimes it's remembering something they told us last week. And it can mean even just using their name while you're having a conversation. It's giving them our full attention for 30 seconds instead of treating them like an obstacle between us and whatever comes next. And sometimes it's simply allowing ourselves to be visibly happy to see them. We really underestimate that a lot. We assume people know that we care. We assume they know that we enjoy them and that we appreciate what they bring into our lives, but maybe they don't know. Maybe the greatest kindness isn't always doing more. Maybe it's letting people see what their presence really means to us, smiling before they do, saying, "It's good to see you," telling them, "I always enjoy talking to you. Thank you." Letting that warmth that we feel actually reach them, because there is something deeply human about realizing our presence is welcomed, that someone noticed that we arrived there, that for one person, in one ordinary moment on a random afternoon, we were actually the good news. Tomorrow, you're going to cross paths with people you may never see again. And you'll cross paths with people who are slowly starting to become part of your ordinary life. You might not know which is which. The person you meet only once may remember your kindness for years. The person you see every week may be quietly looking forward to those few minutes a lot more than you realize. We don't get to know the full weight of every interaction that we have, but we do get to decide how we show up inside of it. Not perfectly, not with some rehearsed performance, but honestly and authentically, with enough attention to let another person know, "I see you. I'm really glad you're here." And maybe your greatest impact won't be something that you build. Maybe it won't be a title that you earn, a milestone that you reach, or one extraordinary thing that everyone remembers. Maybe your greatest impact will be a lot quieter than that. Maybe it'll live in the way people felt when you entered the room or pulled into the parking lot. It might be in the smiles that appeared before you even said a word, in the ordinary conversations that became someone else's favorite part of the day, or in the moments when another person looked up and it was you that they saw and felt genuinely happy that you were the one coming their way. Because maybe the biggest difference that we can make in this life isn't always measured by the biggest thing that we ever do. Maybe it's really measured by how many ordinary days can become just a little bit better because we were there. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me today. And before you move on with your day, I just want to remind you to think again about the person who came to mind at the beginning of this episode, the one you're always really happy to see. And I want you to tell them. Send a text or make a call. Or the next time your paths cross, just let your face show them what their presence means to you. Smile big. Don't assume they already know. The people who quietly make ordinary life better may rarely hear that they do. And then I want you to take that feeling with you into the grocery store, into work, into the house when you get home, into all of those small places where life is really happening. You might never know whose day needed exactly what your presence brought to it. Until next time, keep showing up, keep noticing people, and never, ever underestimate what it means to become someone that another person is truly happy to see.